Hello. So today I want to talk about something precious that I got back, and it was something that I regretted decluttering. And I also want to share how I changed my mind about sentimental items a little bit, especially after decluttering some things that I regretted. So the thing that I got back is this table. And when I was moving years ago during the lockdowns, I wanted to get rid of it. I thought that I would thrive in a completely empty room, but I also thought that it would be easier when moving. And I had 2 rabbits and 2 guinea pigs at that time, and they all had a lot of stuff for themselves, like cages, litter boxes, hiding homes, toys, and so forth. And cleaning their stuff took me quite some time during my day, and I really longed for some complete emptiness. But I have sacrificed myself and my stuff a little bit too much, I think. Looking back on it, I think I didn't think it through enough, and I made a little bit too fast of a decision. So initially I wanted to bring it to the thrift store, but because I was moving and I was in a hurry, I put it in the neighborhood first to see if someone would take it. And luckily last minute, my sister, who also lived in the same street, she took it in. And she said that she knew that I would regret it and she wanted to keep it for me. And I did really regret it, getting rid of this table. Luckily, I don't regret much that I got rid of, but this table was one of the things that I really felt some pain over, especially years later. And there is another thing, it was a big mirror that I used to have, but that one is a bit easier to get back on. It's not made anymore in stores, but I see it every now and then somewhere online, some sort of marketplace, Craigslist, you name it. And I also regret some sentimental items, and those were actually the only things that I wish that I could get back. And I'm so blessed and grateful that I got this table back, especially because this one, it is one of a kind. It was handmade by someone, so it would be very difficult to replace it. And honestly, I was even willing to recreate it, but I did not even have the exact measures, but I wanted to recreate one. But I got it back and I appreciate it so much more now. It has definitely made me think a little bit about sentimental items or one-of-a-kind items. At that time, I thought that the only thing that mattered to me in minimalism was quantity. And that the less stuff the better, and that was the only thing that counted, and that I should not have any attachment to any object. But the reality was that I do get attached to some things, and maybe it's not even a bad thing to love the few items that I do have, to be surrounded by what makes me feel at home, what makes me feel cozy, and especially if I use it as well and if it's practical like a table. Maybe for me, quality matters too. So low quantity, but high quality might be more my thing. And I don't mean expensive with quality. I don't care for design or brands at all. It does not appeal to me somehow. I mean it more in a meaningful way, that it matters to me. It has something special, either aesthetically or energetically or sentimental wise, and that it just matters to me. That's what I mean with quality. So this experience taught me to be a bit more careful, especially with some special items, the one-of-a-kind ones that you really like or that make your home feel cozy, or the sentimental ones that when you don't have them anymore, that you actually see that they did bring in something extra besides just being an object, that they made your home look like a home. And so that some things do matter and are not easily replaceable, and that it is important for me to be better at discerning what does and doesn't matter, and that I need to put a bit more thought into that when dealing with sentimental items or the special, not easily replaceable ones. This was not just any other table. When this one was gone, there was no real replacement for this one. Other tables don't have the same energy, so have to be a bit more careful with that. And I remember Fumio Sasaki in his book talking about sentimental items, and that for him a picture was enough. So if he got nostalgic or sentimental, that he could just look at the picture and that would be sufficient enough for him. He would feel like he still had the item. And even though it's one of my favorite books, with this regard I noticed that I'm different and that that's okay too. I think it would be strange to agree with everything that someone says or thinks, because we are all different human beings with different experiences, thoughts, feelings, and ideas. And I still love all his other ideas about minimalism, but I do value sentimental things in physical form and I need to touch them or be surrounded by them. And I noticed, especially when things were difficult after my guinea pigs, rabbit Olivia, and my cat passed away, after all the craziness of the lockdowns, and when I moved from the place that I loved, actually, I felt as if I wanted to hold on to something that was already here when they were here, my pets, and when I felt good, and something that felt like having roots, that felt grounding, and something that was here before those difficult years. And I really missed this table. I remember me and the piggies and Olivia in my previous home and how I would love the table, how I had my laptop on it and Olivia was underneath it. And I really longed for this feeling back or something that would remind me of that. So I wanted some sort of roots that went back in that time and that I could touch, that I could hold on to. And I actually even wanted roots that went back even before I had them. Something that would take me back to my core, to myself, to my essence. I'm not really a decoration person, but I do like to display the things that give me kind memories, that lift me up and that I received from someone or that have special meaning. And what I changed about my view on minimalism the most is that I love to have as little as possible and I love empty space, but the things that I do have, for those things it's important that they mean something to me or bring me joy or warmth or make me feel cozy, even if they should be just practical. Sometimes I forget that I have this artistic, nostalgic heart that needs meaning in everything, and that needs feeling in everything, and that I need some sort of depth in my essence and my core. I cannot do without it. That I appreciate materials, textures, spaces and energies or feelings, and that's probably also why I'm drawn to art so much. As much as I love the feeling of emptiness in a room, I am still sensitive even to the few things that are present. And I am sensitive to vibes from buildings themselves to the furniture inside. I'm sensitive to aesthetics, but in a different kind of way, more in a craftsmanship kind of way, or something that is cozy, like woodwork or wooden details, those kind of things. Energetically wise, I felt my best when I was in art school, which was a beautiful old church building with very high ceilings and some beautiful details on the walls and very beautiful floor tiles and pillars, and there was art in progress everywhere, and there was history and spirituality from the building itself. So there was movement, creation, innovation, inspiration, and just a sort of liveliness in general. And it's hard to put a specific feeling into words, but I felt so at peace there, as if my soul could finally rest, and I felt that I belonged somewhere. Surroundings mattered to me, energetically wise, and many places like offices or waiting rooms make me literally physical sick. Unfortunately, I am not one of those unbothered people that can just sit there. It affects me more than I would like it to. So from now on, I would like to put more emphasis on sentimental items. The ones that I have, I want to display them and making them part of daily life more. I was very lucky to find some sentimental items that belong to me in my mother's home in boxes in her attic. Some of it she kept and some of it my sister kept, and I just kind of stole it, but I'm sure it's alright. When my cat Anna was sick and I was visiting, I needed to take something with me. I needed something here as well. I'm so lucky that they kept some of these things, even my own stuff. And as a child, I loved to make jewelries, like these sorts of dolls that I like to make, or earrings that were made from old Barbie stuff. And I just loved Barbies and dolls and jewelry so much. So I'm happy to have some of them back. And this stone that I apparently painted. And this was my favorite stuffed animal, this little dog. This is a lamp that my brother gave to me. He currently lives in the United States for work and for his PhD. So he gave it to me as a present, and I think I want to place it somewhere in the kitchen. So this coffee cup, I got it from my cousin and his girlfriend, and they live in Ireland. And it has become my favorite cup to drink coffee from. But I do try to be careful with it, so I don't use it on a daily basis. Not when I'm clumsy and tired. And I think that I want to display some of the little things that I have in something that we here call a letterbox. And I'm not sure what the right translation is, but I think in English, a letterpress type case. Or maybe I want to display it in a vintage stone mold or in an antique Dutch tea display cabinet. I'm not really in a hurry and not actively searching right now, but in the future I would like to have something like that. I decluttered some sentimental items that I regret getting rid of, and I really love minimalism, and for sentimental items too. Because not everything is important or should be remembered, and if you keep everything, then nothing is special. But I do need a few things to hold on to, I realized. And again, I am already so blessed that I got my table back and some of my childhood things. But there were 3 little stuffed animals, like they were like keychains with a sort of bean filling inside. I always loved those bean fillings in stuffed animals, especially if they were very small and I could just squeeze it with my hand, and I miss them so badly. I had them since childhood and it's difficult for me that I cannot hold them anymore. And when my cat, who was 20, almost 21 years old, when she was dying, I really longed so much for those 3 stuffed animals. Something that could remind me of when I existed before I had her. Something that was here even longer and that I could hold in my hands as some strange comfort. The worst part is that I also lost a picture of them, or maybe I forgot to take one, I just can't remember anymore. And during these times I realized that there is value in memories and sentimental items, and especially during difficult times. This was something that I had not really thought about when I was decluttering. I was just thinking of myself when I felt good at that moment when I was decluttering, not really anticipating that there would be times that I would want to hold on to them. So there's a lesson learned for me. The things that I do have left, I appreciate them now more than anything, and there is something so magical about them. The little toys that were held by my hands when I was a child, part of that child is still in the object, part of that moment at least, and it's a part of me that is gone forever, but that is still there. And for me, a picture does not contain the same energy as an object. Let's say a little doll that was my favorite for years and that I held in my hands as a child and filled it with energy of love and warmth, but also with my youthful hope and dreams at that time, my playfulness. And this is something that somehow is a little bit stored in the object, for me at least. I can still feel it when I hold it. or something that was given to me by family, by friends, or by lovers with love and warmth. And I think of all the stuff to declutter. Having one box of really meaningful things is the least of my concerns, and I will not put much emphasis on decluttering sentimentals that much anymore because it is not really a priority. I think it's fine as it is, and even if I would have a bit too much, I would rather be focusing on other areas like paper clutter, digital clutter, clothes, just clutter around the home and so forth. Sometimes I get hit by a sort of poetic nostalgia, a sort of sudden spur of the moment feeling in which I get overwhelmed by a fake overall missing or yearning for something that was there, should have been there, never was there, some sort of forever missing feeling. People, connections, places, times. I always have had these moments as far as I can remember. I used to see it as something bad and I wanted to get rid of it. I think somehow I thought maybe if I got rid of every trace of memories back to the past that would help me. It made the feeling of missing only worse because now I could not even look at the objects or hold them. I could not read the letters anymore. So I do see the importance of having some sentimental items, and if there could be one thing that I could get back, it would be the sentimental items, but lessons are hopefully learned. I am very careful with pictures. I have several hard drives, but also cloud storages as backups. So if something happens with one of the places, I still have them elsewhere. And I also do have some pet stuff that I did not film this time. But now I can appreciate this nostalgic, poetic kind of feeling as a thing that comes with just being alive. And I can even see the value in it in a artistic or poetic kind of way. It definitely brings a flow of inspiration with it, and it has the potential to start a new art project or to get me in a creative state of flow. So I don't necessarily want to get rid of it anymore as long as it is occasional. So with nostalgia and sentimental items, there is this danger of getting into hoarder territory, like everything matters and now every object has meaning. And so it becomes difficult to let go of anything. That is the downside. And the key here too is less but better. Only keeping the things that really matter, being able to discern the meaningful from the ordinary. And this can be difficult, of course, and sometimes there's a gray area. For me, the pitfall is that I'm more on the getting rid of too much instead of holding on to too much with sentimental items. And dealing with regret for me is not minimal because it takes space in my mind and my thoughts, and then I'm still thinking about objects, so I'd rather have them in my home, not thinking about them, than gone forever and missing them. I have never put value on every birthday card that I received, and I could let go easily of many kind of gifts that I received when they did not suit me anymore, or even things like concert tickets, those kind of things. I place very little value on them. But again, everyone is different, so for someone else this might mean the world to them, while a little doll means nothing for them, but for me it does. And I think it's important to know what I value personally and what matters to me and what not. And there are no general rules for this. So I still want to have very strict criteria for sentimental items, but I will be more careful with decluttering them to avoid regret. And I allow some space for nostalgia and memories, and I also want to display more of the meaningful things. So let me know how you are dealing with sentimental items. Have you ever experienced the pain of decluttering something meaningful that you later regretted? And has it changed your view on sentimental items, or do you keep more of it now just to be sure that nothing valuable gets lost? Or maybe you don't have any attachments or regrets at all? I'm curious to hear your experience with that. So please let me know, and thanks so much for watching. See you next time.